Hi, I'm Mary Kopczynski, the CEO of RegAlytics, and here's your update on this week's 15,540 regulatory alerts. It's short though. You know why? Because I counted, and this is my 170th episode in a row, not 1 week off. 170 weeks or 3.5 years straight. And in the end, less is more. Our customers, who include some of the top regulatory experts in the world, like me, spend a lot of time at the beginning of our product until they reach that glorious point of trust, where they know they can't be rattled, they can't be fooled. They just need to review their RegAlytics alerts once a week or once a day or once a month, and this small effort ensures that they are never surprised again. The regulator of the week is the DTCC, who published the results of their pilot with a digital dollar product called Project Lithium. The question was how well CBDCs might operate within the very complex U.S. settlement infrastructure, and the answer is, it's possible. The topic of the week is adult use cannabis. Believe it or not, there are still states out there where even medical marijuana is illegal. Ohio, which does allow medical marijuana but not recreational use, had a hearing yesterday on House Bill 628, where the law acknowledges that legalizing and controlling this kind of usage would not only decrease illegal usage, but also stop out-of-staters from bringing cannabis in there. Sometimes you just have to be practical. In our Find Tracker this week, the FTC is looking into Google for some of their iHeartRadio personality ads. The famous people read a script about how much they love using Google's Pixel 4 smartphone, except there was one problem: the famous people didn't own or regularly use the phone. Thus, the advertisements were false and misleading. AT&T agreed to pay $6.25 million penalty, which is the largest ever in a Regulation FD case by the SEC. AT&T had shorter than expected sales in 2016, and their investor relations team called 20 different Wall Street analysts to let them know. Well, unfortunately, that's material non-public information that was selectively disclosed, bringing disadvantages to other investors, which is not good. Moving on to my home state of New Jersey, some of you may recall the governor signed the Freedom of Reproductive Choice Act earlier this year, which codified the constitutional right for New Jerseyans to have freedom of reproductive choice. But it turns out that some of the agencies, like the New Jersey Department of Banking and Insurance, need some regulatory action to fully comply. So there's an impending rule that's going to require all health insurance to cover all options, and there will be an exclusion for religious employers. And another interesting one, because you hear electric vehicle and people automatically think saving the planet, but there are logistics, like where does the electricity come from? Like if a coal plant is providing that electricity, is it really helping? Well, New Jersey proposed a bill that requires every manufacturer of electric vehicles sold within the state to submit to the state an electric vehicle battery management plan for things like the collection, transportation, reuse, recycling, and safe disposal of batteries. And finally, Michigan is the latest state to propose a law for all condos that owners can replace, maintain, install, or operate energy-saving improvements so long as they cover expenses and it doesn't impact the structural integrity of the condo. And that's it. That's it this week for RegAlytics. So I will see you next Wednesday.